Hi, my name is Sebastian van der Schier, and welcome to this anxiety buster video for the coronavirus. So, I'm a specialist not in the coronavirus, but I specialize in helping people overcome social anxiety. And I decided to step a little bit out of my expertise because the techniques and the strategies that I use to help my clients get over their social anxiety and feel at ease socially are very effective for dealing with the emotional suffering that goes along with the coronavirus. And follow along with this video until the end, and I'm gonna guide you through a particular pretty unusual technique you've likely not heard of before. And what it's gonna do is gonna reduce or maybe even release all the fears and worries that you have associated with the virus. Now, it's very normal to feel worried and to have anxiety about all that you're hearing and that you're bombarded with, but it's not necessary, okay? So here's why I decided to do this video. So I managed to overcome my own social anxiety, and so I don't have that problem anymore. And because I've made that journey to no longer having anxiety, I've become very self-aware and aware of my emotional state. Now, I just arrived in the Philippines a week ago, and I was aware of the coronavirus because my salsa festivals had been canceled, but in Indonesia, where I live, there weren't any cases, so it wasn't really on my mind. But now I spoke to a friend of mine who lives in China with her kids, and she was locked in her house for a week and a half, and she now made it to the Philippines, and she doesn't have the virus, but she was really in fear, and she experienced a lot of the stress along with it. I spoke to her, then I spoke to another friend who gave me some statistics about what was going on. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty bad. It sounds a lot more serious than I thought that it was. Then I started checking the news, and I saw the death counts and how it was growing at an exponential rate. And soon after that, my flight going out of the country back to Indonesia got canceled. The whole airport didn't have any flights out anymore. Now I started to get worried a bit more. I rebooked my flight. Day later, that one got canceled as well. And so I'm here stuck in the Philippines. Anyway, what happened to my emotional state was I started worrying. I'm like, oh my God, what if I get the virus? What if I die? What if the whole economy falls down, and I run out of money, and what if my family gets sick? And I started having all of these worries, and soon enough I had this sense of dread in my stomach and in my chest, and I didn't have that jovial, happy, good feeling state that I'm used to. I'm like, wow, I'm very much affected by this, but it might very well be justified the way that I'm feeling because of what's going on. So I did some online research looking for the facts of the situation, and looking for multiple perspectives. So I've read perspective of biology, a biologist, a scientist, psychologist, the news, various resources, and there were certain things that were reassuring me, and after having read that, it decreased a little bit of my anxiety and my worry. But even though I had the facts, and the facts should actually get me to a place where I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty much fine and everything's going to be fine, I didn't emotionally feel that way. And therefore I had to apply these techniques in order to release the excess, the disproportionate stress, anxiety, and worry that was stuck in my system. And so I did. But I'm going to guide you through that experience, through that technique, so you have an experience of it in just a moment. So what I'm doing myself is, because I've traveled internationally and I've been in a plane with people, I don't really think that I have the virus, but you can have it symptomless. So just in case, I'm isolating myself for 14 days. And so I stocked up on food, and you know, being a white guy here in the Philippines, people were quite scared of me. But yeah, I stocked up on food, and I'm staying indoors for 14 days. So if I then, you know, I read that's a recommendation, so that's what I'm doing. Now actually let's get into some of the actual exercise. So what I did was I sent an email to everyone on my email list, and I asked them, hey, what are your top fears about the coronavirus? And I got a whole bunch of responses back, and too much to read all of them to you, but basically, if I have a summary of it, it's like, I'm afraid to catch it and then die. I'm afraid to catch it and affect others. I'm afraid to catch it and then affect my family dying. I'm afraid of my parents and the people that I love that have impaired immune systems catching it and then dying. I'm afraid of getting it and developing some kind of a problem with it. I'm afraid of the economy, and I'm afraid, you know, falling apart and then not having a job. I'm afraid of my finances, and I'm afraid of my anxiety about it getting out of control. Those are roughly the things that people have said, have written to me about. And you might have your own. I don't need to exactly specifically know what it is for you. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to first rate your level of stress about Corona right now, and then we'll do an exercise, and then afterwards you can rate what your level of stress and anxiety and worry about Corona is then. Okay? Alright, so just close your eyes for a second and think about the virus. Think about, you know, make the anxiety right now as bad as you can make it, because that's going to help you in doing this exercise, getting the most benefit out of this particular exercise. So we're first going to bring up all the stress, the worry, and the anxiety about it. So think about all the worrisome thoughts that you're having, how you're afraid that you're going to catch it, that your family's going to catch it, that the world is going to end, that everyone's going to get it, and it's going to be the apocalypse, and it's the end of the world, and you're going to run out of food and water and die, and you know, all of that. I hate to be so grim, but you know, think about all of it and get into the uncomfortable feelings of it. It's all right. It's just feelings in your body. You're going to be okay. All right. And then rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being, I'm calm about it. And 10 is like, I'm as anxious as I've ever been about it. Okay, good. Now open your eyes if you had them closed. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're pulling these feelings out of your body and you're dumping them behind you on a big pile. This is just a metaphor. This is not, you know, this is just a metaphor. So just imagine doing that, even if it's like, oh, this is a silly exercise, it's stupid, doesn't do anything. It's true, it doesn't do anything. This is not the technique. This is not the exercise. This is just a metaphor. So imagine you're pulling it out of your body and you're piling it up behind you. And now behind you, you've got this massive pile of coronavirus fears and worries and dreads and concerns, okay? So we'll call this your coronavirus stress and anxiety, okay? And then give it a rating on a scale of 0 to 10, right? It might be the same number as you gave it earlier when you tune into that stress and worry, when you're closing your eyes and thinking about it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you through a particular exercise, and it's called tapping. And it is very similar to EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And that is a psychological form of acupuncture, but instead of using needles, you tap with the tips of your fingers on specific acupressure points in the body. Now, if you've seen this, if you're seeing this for the first time, you're like, yeah, right. Okay, I was with you for a bit, but now you've lost it. You're a moron, and you know, this is totally crazy. Get it? When I first saw this, I thought it was a scam, right? But mind you, this is a free video, right? So just go with it. Try it out and see what happens. I've used this to overcome my social anxiety, many other problems. I've helped hundreds of clients overcome their social anxiety using this technique. It's being used by millions of people worldwide. There are more than 100 scientific studies that prove the effectiveness of EFT. It's approved as a valid treatment by the APA, the American Psychological Association. And studies have shown that this tapping actually sends a signal to the part of your brain called the amygdala, which regulates your hormones and studies have shown that it reduces the production of cortisol, your stress hormone, and it increases the production of serotonin, your happy hormone. And these biochemical responses create a sense of calm. So you focus on a particular problem, not the coronavirus, and as you think about it, it brings up thoughts and feelings in your system, and it makes you feel quote unquote bad. And now as you do the tapping, that starts to decrease the feelings associated to the problem that you're thinking about. I know it's hard to believe. That's why I'm going to guide you through it. I'm also going to use some other techniques, one of them being intention-based energy technique from Steve Wells, psychologist, EFT Down Under, check it out. And this is going to be at least interesting. So just try it out, see what happens, and then you go, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to tap where I tap and then repeat what I say out loud. It's that easy. Now, if you don't know exactly where I'm tapping, just tap where you think that I'm tapping, because it's a very forgiving technique that you do not have to do perfectly in order to get results. Okay, so just play along and see what happens. Okay, how hard do you tap? Hard enough to feel it, not so hard that it hurts you. All right, here we go. So just tap here. Base of the finger, base of the wrist. Here's this fleshy part. Just tap there with 3 fingers continuously, quite rapidly, and just repeat after me out loud. Okay. Even though there's this coronavirus, and I have this all these worries and fears about it, I have all of this coronavirus stress. Remember, I'm referring to all of the stuff that you dump behind you. I have this coronavirus stress, and it sucks. The coronavirus sucks, and so do my feelings and thoughts about it. And even though they make sense to me, and they're normal to a degree, I don't really like feeling that way. But even though I don't like feeling that way, there's a part of me that doesn't want to let go of my coronavirus stress. But I do want to try to accept myself and my feelings. Good. Now tapping on the beginning of the eyebrows, you can tap on either side, doesn't matter. You can tap with one hand, with 2 hands, with left or right, doesn't matter. Just copy. So just say, I refuse to let go of this coronavirus stress. It's not safe to let go of it. On the eyes, I need to be hypervigilant. On the nose, it's irresponsible to be calm right now. Chin, I should be worried and stressed and anxious. Collarbone, just wherever you think, right? It would be selfish to not feel stressful about this. Under the arms. If you're a lady, it's where your bra strap meets directly under your armpit. If you're a guy, just guess where that might be for you if you were to wear one. Okay? Directly under your armpit, follow your nipple. There. So just say, I don't deserve to let go of this fear, worry, and anxiety. On the wrist point, just there. Say, I'm attached to this anxiety. It's part of me. On top of that, this anxiety is part of my identity. And I can't let go of it for whatever reason. Logical or not. And I release all my emotional attachments to my resistance to letting go of my coronavirus stress. Good. So what I now want to point out is that anxiety and worry and those kinds of feelings are actually there to warn you, to help you. They try to serve a function. You know, when you feel anxiety in a social situation, your brain is telling you, hey, there's danger, it's risk, you're going to get rejected, you're going to make a fool out of yourself, you know, danger. It's doing the same in this kind of situation. And so it's trying to protect you. Now, it's very uncomfortable to feel these sensations in your body, but it's actually your system perceiving threat and trying to warn you away from it. It's the fight, flight, freeze response. It's saying, hey, fight this attacker, fight this threat. It's a biological a defense mechanism. So fight this threat, fight this wild bear, or run away from it if you can't fight it, or play dead if none of these are options. It's a very old response. Okay, so this anxiety is actually trying to serve you. So you want to have a different relationship with the anxiety. Okay, so let's do a little bit on that. So just tap on the beginning of the eyebrow. Say, I don't like feeling the way that I do. Side eyes, I shouldn't feel this anxious. On the eyes, I'm afraid of feeling this way. I don't know, it sucks to feel this way. On the chin, but maybe on the collarbone, this just means, on the arms, that my system is seeing threat and it's trying to keep me safe. And I can appreciate that intention to keep me safe. Top of the head, take a deep breath. Okay, now back to the side of the hand and repeat after me out loud. Even though I have all of this coronavirus stress, I want to accept myself and my feelings. Beginning of the eyebrows. This coronavirus stress. Say eyes. This coronavirus stress. Now I want you to notice where you feel it in your body. Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe it's locking up your throat. Maybe it's resting in your stomach. I just want you to put your attention on where it is that you're feeling. It might be in your head. It might be behind your eyes. Just be aware. And if you don't know where it is, that's okay too. Just follow along. Tapping under your eyes, put your attention on where it is that you're feeling. It's actually the easiest way to use this technique, to focus on the feeling and apply the tapping. And then just allow the feelings to be there and just observe them, like you're watching them, you're curious about them. You're not running away from them. You're allowing those feelings to be there. You're giving them permission to be there while you're watching them. Kind of like you're watching TV, but now you're watching your own internal TV, if you will. And keep breathing and keep tapping. You're doing good. So on the collarbone, repeat after me again. I'm afraid I'm going to catch the virus. Under the arm, I'm afraid I'm going to die. On the liver point, on the wrist point, I'm afraid my family is going to die. I'm afraid the economy is going to crash. On the beginning of the eyebrows, and I'll end up without a job, without any money, without any food, and we'll all starve, and it will all be miserable. By the way, with this technique, you're going into the negative in order to bring out the feelings that evokes, so that you can release them, so that they don't have so much of a hold over you anymore. Okay, so it's okay to be negative here. You don't always want to be positive, because it's fake if it's not congruent. So we're going into the negative to take the charge out of it. That's what we're doing. Okay, so under the arms, I hate feeling the way that I do. On the wrist point, it's so scary. Top of that, I release all my emotional attachments to my resistance, to feeling calm and centered. Beginning of the eyebrows, I'm still scared. Say eyes, and that's okay. I'm still worried about my parents or my family. And I accept that I feel that way. Chin, I shouldn't feel so nervous and anxious and tense. Collarbone, but I do. Under the arms, I'm allowing myself to feel this way. Wrist point, the world is going to come to an end. Or maybe not. Okay, deep breath. Okay. Now, maybe there's more to do, likely there's more to do, but you can go back to the start of this video and repeat it again. Or you can focus on specific thoughts or feelings that you're having and keep one thought or one feeling in mind, and then just tap through all of the points while you're keeping that particular thought in mind. So that, say that one fear of you is that I'm afraid I'm gonna catch the virus and infect someone. Keep your focus on that thought and just keep thinking that thought and you can say it out loud. I'm afraid I'm gonna catch the virus. 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 And just keep tapping like that for a whole round. And do that for all your thoughts individually and just see what happens. Or you can focus on the feeling that you're having in your body. Say it's like this feeling in your chest and you're like, oh my God. Keep your attention on it while you tap, allowing the feeling to be there and just noticing what happens as you sit there and you tap for 3, 5, 10 minutes. That is going to shift and change, most likely in most cases. Now, in some cases, if you already have pre-existing anxiety and other kinds of problems, you might need to work with a practitioner, and they can help you with that. Okay, good. So I want to do one more thing. So what actually started triggering my anxiety was that I spoke to my friend and she was worried about it, and then other people were worried about it, and I was kind of picking up on the collective fear and panic about it. So I want to do one more round of tapping on that. Okay, so just tap on the top of your head, starting there. Just say, everyone is in panic. I can sense it. The coronavirus panic is in the air. Oh yeah, so I should be panicked too. I don't know. I release all my emotional attachments to my coronavirus panic, whether it's mine or not. Chin, I want to feel a bit more calm. Collarbone, and I release all my emotional attachments to my resistance to that. Why tap under the arm? So anxiety, a lot of it comes from trying to control things you cannot control. Well, what you cannot control is the spread of this virus by yourself. That's a communal effort. We're all in this together. That's what we're all trying to accomplish together. But You know, what you can control is your emotional reactions to what is going on. That's inside of you, okay? So that's what you're doing with this tapping. You're taking control of your well-being. So on the wrist point, it's okay to calm down. Top of the head. Because as I calm down, I'm in a more resourceful state to help myself and those I love. And to do the right thing. Very good, deep breath. Good, now close your eyes again. And now check in with how you're feeling now compared to, 15 minutes ago before we started this tapping. And notice if it feels the same, unlikely, if it feels worse, uncommon, or if it feels better. Better might mean less intense, lighter, or different. You might feel different emotions. Most people will experience that it's less strong. And for some, they'll feel pretty calm. Now what I want you to do is I want you to leave a comment below this video and let me know what your experience was, what your number was before the tapping, and what your number was after the tapping, what your experience was of doing this exercise. And if you have any questions, not related to the coronavirus, I'm not a coronavirus expert, okay? But related to this technique, leave them below in the comment section and I'll get to them as much as I can. And then further, feel free to share this video if this helped you with someone that you care about, someone that you know is worried or is in stress or is anxious, and there you go, okay? This is a pretty special time. Normally you watch the TV and it's like, oh wow, there's a tsunami in Thailand, or oh wow, there's this earthquake in Bali, or there's wow, there's this this massive storm in the Philippines, right? But now it's something that we're all in this together, and we all gotta get it together and do the right thing, and I hope and expect that something quite beautiful is going to come out of this. It might just be me being an optimist, but that's what I expect. So good times. So if this was helpful for you, great. Leave a comment below, and share this video. Also, what I'm going to do for people with social anxiety, in case you're having social anxiety, if not, you can end the video here. But if you're suffering from social anxiety, we're now doing social distancing and isolating yourself and quarantining yourself at home. Oh my God, this is what a lot of people with social anxiety naturally do. And normally you have to come up with all these excuses to self-isolate and keep your distance and let people not infiltrate your personal space and all of that kind of stuff. And now that's naturally happening. And so I want to make use of that amazing opportunity to do a 30-day social confidence challenge from the comfort of your home. So we're then going to be using this technique to significantly reduce your social anxiety from the comfort of your home, so that in your isolation becomes very productive, so that once coronavirus has been dealt with and you go out there, you can face the world with increased social ease and social confidence. So if that's of interest to you, you can go to bit.ly/social confidence challenge. That is bit.ly/social confidence challenge. So this is Sebastian van der Schrier from socialanxietysolution.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll be in touch soon. Bye for now. I just touched my face. I shouldn't do that. Bye.